HOD Creatives, welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to be making this trending sequence beret you are seeing on your screen. If this is something you like to learn, let's get right into it. Welcome back. So let's get right into the measurements and the materials. These are the materials we are going to be using, and we are going to be using velvet sequence. You know, it's velvet berets. So we are going to be using velvet sequence for this beret, and I'm going to be using wadding. This is the very soft wadding, the soft one. Can you see? It's the soft one. So we are going to be using it, and I'm going to be using raw silk for my lining and that. So I'm going to be using I've cut out the wadding pattern I need. So I'm going to be using this for my pattern. You can use your paper to do your pattern, but I'm going to be using this wadding for the pattern. So the measurement I have here is 12 by 12. 12 by 12. 12 this way, 12 this way. So the width is 12, the length is 12. That's just what it means. So, and again, if you don't want to line it, you can make it like this without putting lining. You can use only your velvet without using lining. But I'm using lining, and I'll be adding wadding for just to make it a little bulky. You understand? To make it look like berets, really. Okay. So what I'm saying in essence is that it's optional. It's not compulsory for you to use the velvet, and it's not compulsory for you to use lining. Just make do with whatever you have around. Okay. So I'm going to bring out one from it, and what I'm going to do now is to fold it into 4. So this is 1, and this is 2. So I'll just fold it into 4 like this, and I'm going to mark 6 inches round. So you see 6 inches. So you just take your 6 inches round like this, the way I'm doing it. So just watch it. Make sure your tape is at the edge here, at this 4 corner here, so that you have a round shape, so that your shape does not look funny. So make sure your 6 inches is your 6 inches all the way around like this. So when you get to this point, you just cut out. Take your scissors and you cut. So this way you have a perfect circle. You have a perfect circle. So this is what we have. You see our circle, how perfect it is. So you repeat the same thing for the second piece. You know, we cut out 2 of this. So you repeat the same thing. So you just place it on it this way, and then you cut. If you don't want to place it this way, you can mark it also 6 inches all the way around. You can mark it 6 inches round and cut, so that the 2 will be perfect. So this is what we have. Now the next thing you are going to do now is to mark round this one. You're leaving this one like this, but this second one you mark 3 inches all the way around. 3 inches. You can mark, if you are not using lining, please use 2.5. 2.5. If you're not using lining, if you're not putting lining, use 2.5, because it will stretch. But with lining, it might not stretch. So if you know you're not using lining, please use 2.5 or 2.75, but don't use 3 inches. So because I'm using lining, that's why I'm using 3 inches. So this is what I have. So I'm going to use this one now to cut out my fabrics. So all you just need to do is to fold your fabric like this. This time around, I'm going to fold it into 2. I don't need to fold it into 4 again, because this, I can fold this into 2 and cut out whatever I need. So it's as simple as that. Okay, so I'm trying to reduce my fabric. I don't want to waste it, so I'm trying to reduce it. It can be useful for something else, so I'll just reduce it. Okay, so I got what I want. I'll just pin. So the next thing, I'll just check that it's good. So I'll cut. Okay, so when I'm done with this, I'm going to cut out the second one. That's this. Fold it into two also. So you arrange it properly. If it's too much, you reduce your fabric and then you pin. Please always pin so that while cutting, your fabric tends to move. So that you not finish cutting and you see one side is somehow, the other side is somehow. So always pin. Okay. So I'm done with the sequence. So I'll just cut this inner. Yeah, so the next thing is the lining. So I'll cut the lining also, fold into two. Put this on it. So cut, pin, pin. Okay. So I'm repeating the same thing for this. Then okay, so across the middle. So we are done with the cutting. Next thing is to start sewing. So what you're going to do now is to pick the round one, put it this way, then you take it to your sewing machine and secure it down. Secure it down. So after that, do the same thing for this. Place it on it. Take it to your sewing machine and you just secure it down. So when you are done securing it, you just do it this way. Place it on each other like this. And then you sew all the way around. You sew your 1/2 inches all the way around. You repeat the same thing for your lining also. You place it on each other this way. I'm not adding wording to my lining, but if you want to, you can add. So you sew it all the way around also. So I'm going to take this to my sewing machine now. I'll sew it round and bring it for you to see. So I've gone ahead to sew, and this is what it looks like. So you're going to notch it round. Please notch carefully so you don't cut your seam. So you just notch it around this way. So You need to be careful while notching. Okay, so repeat it the same thing also for the lining. So when you're done, you turn it to the right side. You can iron it if you want. If you want to iron it, you iron it from inside, not from outside. Just put your iron inside like this and you just iron it like this. Please don't iron from outside. Okay, so this is what we have. So the next thing we are going to do now is to, there's something always at the middle, that small piece at the middle. So all you need to do now is to fold it into 2 and then into 4 just to get the midpoint to put it. So you just mark that midpoint. Use your chalk and mark it. So this is it here. So we're going to insert it here. So I just cut out a small piece of, this is 2.5 by 2.5. So 2.5 by 2.5. So you fold. Please, while folding, fold it very tight. You fold it very tight. Very tight. See the way I'm tightening it? You make it very tight. So when you're done, take your needle and thread and you just tack it down. So you just tack it down. So this length is too much, so I'm reducing it. So I'm okay with this length. Let me see what I have here. So this is just 1.5. This is just 1.5, so it's okay. 1.5 is okay. So you tack down. You just close the mouth, pass it through the middle to the other end. So this is what we have. Then you just tack it down here before you fix your lining. Before you fix your lining, so you tack it, you go all the way up. See the way I'm going all the way up, then you go down again. So you make sure it's standing. Oh, my thread is short. So you just tack and tack and tack, then when you're done, you tie. Okay, so this is what we have. So the next thing I'm going to do is to put my lining inside. Okay, before then we'll measure around. Just mark any point, any place like this. Then you measure around to see what you have. I have 25. So you cut out a piece 25 inches by 2 inches. I cut out 25 inches by 2 inches, and I've gone ahead to close it. So you just close it. This is 25 inches by 2 inches. So you just close it. So when you're done with that, you just put your lining inside. Put your lining inside properly. So when you are done, putting the lining inside, you take your band, you place it inside. You have two options. The first one is to just fold it into 2 like this and then place it like this. that's the band will be outside. You pin, pick your band, pick your lining, pick your your beret, then you pin like this, then you pin it all the way around like that, then you sew, and you have something like this, just like this, and the rough edge will be inside. But I don't want to sew it that way. I want it to have a neat finishing, so I'm just going to put this inside. I'm putting the band inside, open my seam allowance, put it in like this, then I'll pin it. So I'll go ahead like that and pin it all the way around. So I've gone ahead to pin it round and also sew it round. So I pin it round and I sew it also round. So you need to check properly that there's no any pin inside, especially if you are using a dark material like this I'm using. You need to check properly. Okay, so when you're done, so the next thing we are going to do now is to bring it out, and we are going to just fold the edge in a little and bring it on that your stitch. So you pin. So you repeat the same thing all the way around. Just fold it in a little, put it on your stitch, on your previous stitch, then you pin. Okay, you see. So by so doing this, your inside is neat and your outside too is neat. So I'll continue like this and I'll make sure I pin everything round. Then I'll take it to my sewing machine and I'll just top stitch on it round. I'll just top stitch round. So this folding, you need to be careful and you fold it carefully and gently. So I'm done folding it. So I'm just going to take it to my sewing machine now and I'll top stitch the edge round. So my inside is neat and my outside also is neat. So this is what we have. The inside is neat and here is the outer part. So thank you for watching and I'll see you in my next video.